What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of Just an Era podcast. This week, we are going to be doing an episode where we talk all things being a home buyer, the things I've learned over the years, the process to buy a home, because I bought my home that I'm currently living in back in February of this year. So I'm going to be coming up on a year and I'm going to be going into the new year looking into buying another potential property. So I feel like this is a really good episode because I've been talking about just being a home owner in general kind of a lot lately. And I know a lot of you guys have been reaching out to me in my DMs just asking for advice. So I figured let's just do a full episode about it. All the things I've learned, mistakes I've made, XYZ, whatever you want to hear. But before we get into things, obviously a little bit of housekeeping, making sure you're following the Just an Era podcast for some giveaways monthly that we're gonna be doing, and of course, rating the show a 5 star wherever you listen to your podcast, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. But let's get into things. Random rants for this week. I know we've all seen the Brianna chicken fry drama. Okay. And I don't know why, but this one is just hitting so home for me right now. And I don't know if it's because I have previously been somebody that has been in a very, very toxic relationship, who has lost herself, who has underate, who has been, cheated on, like literally all the things in my past relationship. So seeing her going through it post breakup, I'm like, I don't know. I want to talk about it real quick because there was a segment, or not even a segment, a video she made on one of her TikToks. I think it was on her spam account, but she was just talking about how she lost herself, obviously, within the relationship, lost a lot of weight, didn't want to eat, had a lot of anxiety, XYZ. And she was just kind of reaching out on social media of like, how can I get back into a place where I'm at a healthy weight? I'm not terrified of food, whatever it is. And I was like, holy fuck, this was literally me like 6 years ago. And I haven't made a TikTok yet. I'll probably make a TikTok video stitching her video, pretty much saying what I'm saying right now. But ladies, if you're going through something similar to Brianna Chicken Fry right now, my one suggestion, oh my God, an answer for you is to get into weight training. Okay. I know it was a huge trend and now people are kind of getting out of weight training all the time and going to Pilates or yoga or anything or like that. But I'm telling you right now, weight training is going to be the one answer for you to gain healthy weight back, have an appetite, and just feel overall better about yourself. Okay. Because first things first, scientifically, let's talk about it. So, when you are weight training, you are building lean muscle mass. The more lean muscle mass you have on your body, the more calories your body will burn at rest. So, just from weight training, you are going to build up an appetite. Your metabolism is going to get boosted. You're going to have lean muscle. You're going to be craving more food. And with that is obviously going to become more of a healthy weight gain. You're going to get toned, more, muscle throughout your body. And don't go into it and be like, oh my God, I'm going to get so bulky. You're not, I promise you. You don't even need to lift weights 5 days out of the week. As long as you do it 2 to 3 times out of the week, I promise you it is going to make such a difference right off the bat. And on top of that, you are just gonna feel so strong and independent from going to the gym and lifting weights. There is no other better feeling than being able to go to the gym, lift some heavy weights, and then just go home after that. Like, I don't know what it was. I mean, obviously, I do know what it was, but like the relationship I built with the gym post breakup, I had a obvious great glow up in the sense of like my independence, my strength, my relationship with food. And here I am now, obviously, I don't lift weights 5 to 6 days out of the week anymore like I used to. I have incorporated other things like running and yoga and Pilates. But like, if you are stuck in a place and you don't know where to start, the first place you should look to build a better relationship with, healthy weight gain and food and gain just overall is lifting weights. You don't need to go every day, go at least twice a week. And then you can add in little things here and there like yoga and Pilates. But I'm telling you right now, if you're starting from square one and you haven't really been working out and you want to build an appetite and feel stronger and gain weight, I hate to say it, but yoga and Pilates is just not going to do that for you. Okay. You need to be lifting weights. And I suggest anyone to do that. So I'll probably make another TikTok just talking more about this. But that was just my little 2 cents that I wanted to throw out there because it really broke my heart. And as one Massachusetts girlie to another, Brianna Chicken Fry, fun fact, I don't think I've ever actually told you guys this, but me and her went to high schools right next to each other. So she went to Rockland High, I went to Hanover High, and she was the grade below me, but our friend groups in high school went to a lot of the same house parties together. So like I've met her many times. Does she probably remember me? Probably not. I was irrelevant in high school. I mean, she was too. She was pretty much on like the quieter side. Um, and she'll say that too on her socials. Like I'm not like saying anything to be mean or anything, but we were both pretty irrelevant. Like we would go to the house parties. I had my boyfriend at the time that I would just go to the house parties with, like what blah blah blah. And we were both very quiet people. So like anyone that's gonna be throwing jabs at her, being like, I know we're from like hometown or whatever. I'm like, okay, like so do I. And the things you're trying to claim about her are so irrelevant, so false. Like get out of here. So, anyways, I'm T Bree. I've always been Team Bree. I know that she has had herself a year of, um, putting herself in the fire pit and saying things that she probably shouldn't, but she was projecting. And I've been there. I've been in that situation before. And I think people need to give others benefit the doubt that they are a better person. And, things really do change you and morph you when you are in a toxic relationship. So, yeah, that's pretty much my 2 cents on that. Anyways, my weekend recap, Friday, I went to a little girls' night. We went to Gabriella's for dinner. If you're anything familiar with Austin or the restaurants in Austin, Gabriella's is a locally owned female business. It's all gorgeous neon signs, blue, pink. Girls' night central, like best place to go. I haven't been in honestly a very long time. I used to go to Gabriella's like at least once a month. Have not gone in a while. So I was actually excited that we were going, and there was, I think, 6 of us there, and I get there, I look at the menu, scan the menu because it's one of those QR codes, and I'm like, "Oh shit, it's happy hour until 6." We got there at 5:30, so I was like, "I am taking advantage of this and getting some drinks off the happy hour menu." You guys, tell me why 2 beverages, so I got 2 beverages, but 2 beverages was basically the price of 1. So each house margarita was only $6 on the happy hour menu, so I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna order 2 right now because we only have 15 minutes left of happy hour." So that's what I did. I got 2 drinks, just had them both in front of me, so that way I could, save literally probably what, like 15 bucks on a drink. So got 2 of the house margaritas, and same with everyone else. We all did that, but I really fucked up by not getting food on the happy hour menu because half the girls got food on the happy hour menu, and then I just kinda waited because I wasn't hungry yet, and I basically got half the portion of food for double the price of what everyone else got on the happy hour menu. So I was like, "Fuck, I really fucked up there," but it's whatever. But I love a good girls' night, especially a good girls' night where it's the most outlandish conversations, like, I was fucking cracking up the entire time. We were talking about, like, the most absurd things, and thank God we were in a private room and there was no one sitting at any of the other tables in our room because we were literally talking about, like, dogs passing away, like, everyone was going around the circle talking about, like, their stories of their childhood dog passing away, scary documentaries, crazy sex stories, like, literally everything you can imagine, and I'm gonna tell you right now, this is my ideal girls' night. I cannot do the girls' nights where all we're doing is talking shit, gossiping, like, and this is something that I'm learning in 2024 is that, like, I just can't do it. I can't do it. My mental health just I've never been somebody that has been so into gossip and drama. And I've been okay, I'm gonna say right now, I've been doing a lot of reflecting over the last few months of just my life and who I am as a person. And I am realizing I just cannot do big, big girlfriend groups. I just can't do it. I will have like a big girlfriend group, but it needs to be like everyone doesn't really know each other that well. Cause the group I went out to eat with, I was like, this is great. This is awesome. We're all like mutuals with one another. But a girlfriend group that is just constantly talking shit, gossiping, and talking about random drama, like, it really has deteriorated me a lot and turned me into a person that I don't wanna be. Um, I have never been somebody to have a big girlfriend group. I have always been somebody that has kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? Like, gone for, like, the guy friends, and I know it's like, "Oh my god, pick me," but I'm being dead ass right now, like, I just have never had a big girlfriend group, I never have, and I've always just, had, like, my close guy friends or whatever it is. And now that I'm in a relationship, that's just harder for me to do. Okay. I have not necessarily, quote for quote, cut off a lot of my guy friends from back home or in college, but I just don't communicate with them on a daily basis like I used to, just because, out of respect to my boyfriend, that's just something I don't want to do. So I'm just realizing I am better off thriving, having my own like friends from different categories of things. My running friends, my gym friends, my social media friends, my good best friends, all different, all separated, and it has been no drama and I love it. So, when it comes to a girls' night, I am trying to stray away from those nights out where all we do is talk shit and gossip. If I'm gonna be having conversations with people, I want it to be fucking funny. I want it to bring me laughter. I want it to be just good vibes, laughs, and that's it. I mean, I feel like everyone else can agree with me on this that like all you're doing is talking shit and gossiping, even if you're involved with it or not, and you have nothing to do with the drama, or maybe you are a part of the drama, it fucking deteriorates you. It really does. So I just need to, you know, end this year saying goodbye to all that and going into 2025, like looking for friendships and people that are not going to bring that bad side of me out. Because I feel like I've kind of lost myself in a sense from that. So it really just hasn't brought out a good side of me. It really hasn't. So anyways, perfect girls' night. And then I had an event down the street, literally like 2 blocks down the road. And so I asked a few of the girls, I was like, "Hey, does anybody wanna come with me to this event that I have?" Usually the event's like it's always like a bring a plus one or whatever it is. So 2 of the girls ended up coming with me, and it was an open bar. And usually when I get to these events, no one really asks you like who you know here or anything like that, but it was one of those events where they were asking me that. I'm like, "I'll be totally honest with you right now, I don't know why I was invited to this event." Some of these events that I go to in Austin, which I'm gonna say right now, I think there are at least 2 to 3 events per week, and I try to go to all of them just because of networking reasons, and, you never know who you're gonna meet, you never know who you're gonna bump into and who's gonna benefit you, XYZ. So I try to go. And, I walk in, people are asking me like, "Oh, who do you know here? How do you know this person?" I'm like, "I literally don't know," because most of the time when I get invited to these events, it's usually through Instagram or through my managers or a random email I'll get because I have my email in my bio. And I was just like, "Actually, I really I don't know why I'm here, but, I'm happy to be here." And I think maybe 20, 30 minutes go by. Obviously, it's open bar, so, me and my friends get a drink, we go sit down, and out of my corner of my eye, I see Alex Bennett, and I'm like, "Ah, that's why I was invited." Because, I am signed on with Just Media, and Alex Bennett is the founder of Just Media, and she comes in and I'm like, "Oh, this is why I was invited." So I was like, "Oh, the puzzle pieces, they came together." And if you guys know Alex, she just had a kid, so she has not been able to drink. So when I saw her, she sat down with me, she had a drink in her hand. I'm like, "How is it? How is drinking?" And she goes, "I love it." So it was just good to see her and be at like an event with her in the podcast agency because I was like, I actually haven't been to any events that correlate to the podcast. So that was fun. And it was a very young crowd of people that just like wanted to drink and have fun. So was more or less just kind of chit chatting with a bunch of people. And then around, I would say 9 o'clock because I left the house at 5 for dinner. And right around 9 o'clock, I went home. So it was a really nice, casual Friday night. I love those types of nights where I'm not going crazy to the bars. I went to an event, open bar, so I didn't even pay for my drink, which is great. And happy hour, oh my god, I didn't even mention my happy hour menu or my bill, 27 bucks. I got 4 tacos and 2 drinks for 27 bucks with tip. That's crazy. You don't see that a lot in Austin. So go to Gabriella's for their happy hour. Definitely well worth it. Anyways, so then on Saturday morning, I woke up and it was the day I had to go pick up my parents at the airport. They were coming in from Saturday to Tuesday, and I had to pick them up around 9:30 in the morning. And one thing about me is I am pretty much on my routine. I'm not very good at getting off my routine in the sense of like my workouts. So my mom, I texted her while she's on the flight. And I'm like, "Hey, I was gonna try to squeeze in going on my run before picking you guys up at the airport, but I just had breakfast and I need to digest my food. I need to go to the bathroom. I need to drink my coffee. I'm not gonna be able to squeeze it in. going on my run beforehand. So I'm gonna go on my run after I pick you guys up for the airport. I picked him up around 9:30, got home around 10, and went on my run real quick, ran through my neighborhood, and then showered, got ready, and brought my parents over to downtown to go out to lunch. We went to the Corner Bar, which is located on Congress, right on the corner. You get to people watch. It's an outdoor bar. It's honestly a really good sports bar if you're looking to watch football and also just people watch. So we went there and I got their carnitas tacos. My mom got a Caesar salad. They have all the American food, but they also have tacos. So if there's tacos on the menu, I'm ordering them. And we had lunch there for a little bit, hung out, and my parents were like, "All right, we want to go watch some football and honestly just see what your downtown street looks like where you always go to the bar." So I was like, okay, bet, let's do it. Even though my parents have been awake since 3 in the morning and they are pretty damn tired, like my parents are literally yawning in my face. I'm like, okay, let's go to the bars just for a few hours. So we went down to West Sixth Street where a bunch of my friends were. We went to Dogwood, which is on West Sixth, and it's one of those bars that just plays, all the football games, casual. It's like a turf with a bunch of tables. And I will say right now, Dogwood has to be my favorite bar on West 6th right now because, first of all, they redid it. They renovated the entire bar. Um, New turf, new tables, new TVs, a whole projector TV. Like the amount of options there are to sit down, I love that. I hate going to Rustic Tap and having to stand for like 3 to 4 hours straight. Like I want to go somewhere if I'm going to go watch football and be able to sit down. I do, because if I have to stand the entire time, I'm more likely to wanna go home and look at my boyfriend and be like, "Can we go home?" And he's like, "Oh, Sam, we're watching football." I'm like, "But I've been standing for 4 hours and I love hanging out with you, but I can't stand here. I need to sit down." So, Dogwood, hands down my favorite bar. And you will definitely be finding me there for the remainder of the football season until it gets too cold and I don't want to be outside at the bars. So, went there for a few hours. A bunch of our friends ended up meeting up with us, and I introduced my parents to some of my friends. And from there, we went home because we had a dinner reservation. Now, I realized my mom listens to my podcast and she gets mad about some of the things I say about our family. Um, One of them being that they're picky eaters. But I hate to say it, they're picky eaters. My mom and dad, picky eat well, actually, I take that back. My dad is not a picky eater. My mom, on the other hand, okay, no, I take both of that back. So, my dad has colitis. He is very sensitive to a lot of foods. There's limited options. So, he's not quote picky, but his diet is very restricted. And then my mom, on the other hand, she's picky. Like she's hands down picky. So picking restaurants is very hard because I would pick any restaurant and I had to pass it by them and they're like, "No, no, 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 no." Okay, I'm like, "So you guys pick. Why don't you guys pick?" Cuz I made a reservation at this Mediterranean restaurant. They said no to it, so I'm like, "All right, you guys pick." So, where are we going? We're going to a steakhouse. And you know what? In my head, I don't like making reservations at steakhouses when my parents are visiting because I don't want them to spend 300, 400, $500 to go out to eat. Because if they want to do that, then they can so much volunteer themselves to make the reservation and whatever. But I didn't want to make the reservation and be like, "All right, we're going to a steakhouse. Now you got to pay all this money." Like, no. So, they made a reservation at Perry's downtown, and it's a steakhouse, obviously. And I got the 6-ounce filet. My dumbass got it medium rare. And I'm now learning when you go to a steakhouse, like they will undercook whatever you ask for because they don't want to cook it too much. Because then at that point, they just have to either toss it or you got to suck it up and eat it. Or, if it's undercooked, you can at least cut it open, see if it's cooked enough. And if it's not, they can bring it back into the kitchen and cook it more. So, anyways, I got a medium rare steak. I fucked up. It was literally raw in the middle, but I ate all the corners of it. It was still good. But everyone else at the table got their signature pork chop. You guys, this thing was a machine. It was huge. 32 ounces. The thing was bigger than my head. I've never seen such a big pork chop in my entire life. So, if you love pork chops, go to Perry's Steakhouse downtown. Incredible. I tried a little bit of it. I'm not a huge pork chop person, but they all loved it. They were like basically drooling over it. I mean, it smelled good, it looked good, just not my thing. So that's what we did Saturday night. And I like to say that I had a pretty casual weekend. I had a total of, I think, 3 drinks all weekend, which is amazing. It feels good to kind of reset and have a casual weekend. Um, it was very much needed, and I kind of hope the next few months, honestly, are kind of like that. I just want to reset and be a little bit slower around the holiday season, but who knows? I say that now, and then it's probably not going to happen. So, and then on Sunday, we just kind of went to brunch and watched football at my house for the day. I have a cousin that lives here, and he's on my dad's side of the family, so he came over. He watched football with us, and it was just kind of like a family day at my house watching football. My dad made dinner. I made some appetizers. I made banana bread for dessert later that night, and it was fire. Still got a whole half the loaf at my house, and I'm going to be eating it every night. So that was it. Pretty wholesome weekend with my family in town. They like to come out. Well, my mom and dad like to come out at least once a year. And then my brothers also come out once a year. And I would say I see my family a good amount, so it's nice. And now I'm starting to look at my flights to go home for Christmas. And holy shit, you guys, $900 to go home for Christmas. I'm not spending that. I am sorry. It's just not happening because on top of $900, I also have 2 dogs that are gonna need someone to watch them while I'm gone. Like, I don't wanna spend that. Why do the holidays have to be so expensive? Like, that's just also why I'm not going home for Thanksgiving because Thanksgiving and Christmas are so close to each other. So imagine I spend $800, $900 on my flight for both Thanksgiving and Christmas, and then also, my dogs need a sitter. Like, hell no. Hell no. Like, do I have to end up driving? That's absurd. But I don't know. I'll keep an eye out on my flights. Anyways, let's get into the segment of the episode where we talk all things being a homeowner. Okay, so like I had mentioned at the beginning of the episode, I purchased my first home back in February of this year, 2024, and it was a very quick process. For me personally, I just knew for the last few years that I wanted to purchase a home. I actually went through the beginning of this process this 2 years ago, but I didn't get approved for the budget that I wanted with my home. So I was like, you know what? Let's just wait one more year. And then in 2024 is when I started looking. December of 2023 is when I reached out to a realtor. Now, when it comes to a realtor, you can do it through a referral, asking some friends or people you know that have purchased a home, or just going on Instagram. Okay. So for me personally, mine was through Instagram. If you're a realtor and you're listening to this right now, I imagine you probably can agree that you get a lot of your, clients through Instagram. Do the social media work. I promise you, if you're a realtor and you're not doing the social media work and posting content and have a separate Instagram for your business or your job, it's going to bring in so many new clients because that's how, our today's generation finds things is through social media and just referrals and people tagging people, networking. So that's just how I found my realtor here in Austin. And that's how I also found my realtor in South Carolina. Now, after you get your realtor, you can just obviously connect with them, discuss everything. But another thing you're also going to need to do is get a lender. Now, when you have a realtor, your realtor is going to have all the referrals, all the suggestions on lenders, handymen, home inspection people, like literally everything you need in terms of a home, your realtor will have those referrals too. So just make sure you're getting a good realtor and they have those referrals for you so that you don't have to keep outreaching and looking for things. You just have that realtor that's going to have all those resources for you. So you're going to need a lender, of course. One of the biggest things is getting approved by a lender for like a certain budget with what you can afford for a home. And, you can also go to them and just say, hey, this is my budget. This is what I'm looking for, the price range of a home. This is how much I can put down. And they will find all the right things for you with the numbers that are going to suit you and your home. Obviously, it's going to depend from location to place, time of year, with your interest rate, what your down payment's going to be. But you just need to discuss all those numbers with your lender to figure out what is going to work best for you. And obviously, I could go into talking about this, but I just would say I'm not the expert. So definitely talk to a lender if you have questions in terms of like budgeting for a home and, the down payment, the interest rate, the insurance, all of those things. I'm just kind of going to talk about like the general, things for purchasing a home. But anyways, you also, when you are purchasing a home and you're talking with your lender, yes, you're going to get that mortgage number from them, but you also need to consideration the insurance and the utilities when you are looking at a home and you are, on Zillow or any of those things. Especially Zillow. Zillow will show you like what the predicted mortgage will be, but that doesn't also show you what the utilities of your home are going to be and your insurance. You need to put maybe even like an extra 500 on top of your mortgage with the insurance and utilities. So just something to keep in mind. But once you get that done and you have that budget that you have in mind, you can start looking at homes online and start touring. I think touring is definitely one of those things that you got to do a lot of just to keep yourself open-minded. I think I toured 12 homes before I settled with the home that is now my home. 12 homes within, I think, like 3 days. I toured like 6 one day, 5 one day, and like 2 another day. Keeping yourself open-minded, and I did that. And I fell in love with one specific home, which is obviously the one I have now because of the backyard. I just imagined my dogs are running around with the zoomies and just having a great time in the backyard. So yeah, I ended up putting an offer in. And when you put your offer in, things move quickly. They definitely move quickly. I pretty much went under contract like a few days later. And through that first offer I put in, I had a 30-day turnaround and, I got the keys to the house. It was very quick. I feel like Austin's market is really, really slow right now in terms of like people buying. So when it comes to you actually buying a home, it's quick because there's not a lot of other things going on, like with other houses being bought or whatever it is. So the home buying process is very quick. I mean, the home selling process, probably not so much. There's a lot of homes on the market right now in Austin. So yeah, that's pretty much the process. I would go into more detail, but like I said, I'm not a fucking expert. So maybe I could have a realtor on this podcast maybe one day. I don't know. We'll see. I also would like to quickly mention too, in terms of realtors, I've already gotten a lot of you guys asking for a referral for the realtor I'm using in South Carolina. And I'm going to simply just, in the most respectful and nice way possible, I'm going to gatekeeper just because, the market there is very, very small. And for my own privacy reason, I don't want us to have the same realtor and being able to look at the same houses. And God forbid I did buy something and, you had also the same information to the house. Like, I don't know, just out of my own like paranoia, I'm going to gatekeep my realtor until I do buy something. And then I am more than happy to share her with you guys. But right now I'm just like, my own paranoia. I'm a very paranoid person if you can't tell. Okay. So I'm going to gatekeeper. My Austin realtor though, you're more than welcome to have her. DM me. I will give you my referral to her. She's awesome. I have nothing to obviously like hide now. I bought the house. It's not on the market anymore, so it doesn't matter. But in terms of the Charleston realtor, I hope you guys can understand that and respect that. I'm just going to gatekeep her for now. And then, so now that I've owned a home for 9 months? Yeah, 9 months. I want to share with you guys some of the things that I have learned since being a homeowner. Some of them are obviously self-explanatory. Some of them maybe not so much. But number one is that it won't feel like home right away. Like you think, oh my goodness, I just bought a home. I'm going to move in. It's going to feel like a house to me, my home. It's going to feel really uncomfortable for a while. Like I'm going to be honest, like the first 3 to 6 months, it didn't really feel like a home to me. I feel like for me, when it comes to feeling like home, it doesn't necessarily have to do with the physical home itself. It's more of the memories. So it took a while to, build up memories and meaningful things in this home for me to feel like it is actually home. So if you buy a house and you move in and you're like, fuck, I kind of regret this. This doesn't feel like home. Just wait it out. I promise, wait it out. and the more memories and hosting of people and events that you have in your home, like it's going to start to feel more like home. Now, of course, the more you furnish the home, it's going to also feel like home. So just be patient with that. If you have like that, home buying, like guilt and feeling of regret, it's going to go away. Because at first I was like, fuck, what did I just do? Like, did I just make a mistake? Now I feel like I'm super permanent. I need to stay in this house. No, you don't. You don't. I purchased this house also going into it with the mindset of like, this is not my forever home. This is an investment. Okay. So when I want to look for my forever home, if me and Nick buy a forever home together and it's where we settle down, have kids, like that's going to be a little bit of a different home buying experience for myself. But for this home, like I was like, this is literally an investment property. I don't need to have like all of this sentimental value towards the home. Now, obviously, I want it to feel like home, but I got to like let some of that feeling go of having like all these expectations with this house. So just keep that in mind. If you're looking to buy a home and you're my age, you're not quite ready to settle down, it's just an investment. It's not your forever home. You can sell it 5-10 years from now. Like, or, move out of it and turn it into a long-term rental and somebody else can move in here and just rent it out for you. So like, just don't put any pressure on yourself when it comes to like, this is my home, my forever home, or it doesn't feel like home. So that is something that I struggled with at the very beginning of buying this house. Number 2, self-explanatory. You're always going to have a project when you buy a house. There's always going to be something that you need to do, whether it's a brand new build like this home that I'm living in, or it's a house that, you bought from somebody else. There's just always going to be a project, whether it's painting a wall, doing some yard work, changing out the AC filter, like literally anything. There's just always going to be a project, and there's always going to be a space in the home that is going to be needing to get updated or refurnished or anything. Like the list just always goes on. Right now, my biggest thing is my backyard. We obviously did all the construction with the pool and extending the deck, and now my grass is destroyed. It's dead from all of the construction in the backyard. And I now have to hire a landscaper to come out and pretty much tear up all that dead grass and put new grass down. And I also need to paint or stain the fence. So we got a lot of projects in the backyard going on right now. And I also wanted to paint my bedroom because my whole house is white right now. I have no colored walls. So that is something that is going to need to happen at some point. But yeah, and then another thing kind of leading on to that, number 3, is that the yard work is a lot to keep up with. Like I have been somebody that has lived in a townhome. We had a little bit of yard. We had some plants outside, but it was never something that came to mind that I needed to take care of because I didn't. I really didn't have to take care of it. And now that I have a full ass house with a front yard and a backyard, I am realizing how much work it is to do yard work, especially living in Texas with how hot it gets. That dead grass, once it dies, it's done for. You're not getting it back. So just keep that in mind when you are buying a house, the yard work that needs to get done. I live alone. I'm only a girl. I don't live with my boyfriend. So the yard work thing is something that is new to me. I've been learning. I've been trying to do it. I don't have a garage also, so I can't buy a lawnmower. I had a lawnmower. If you've been following with my podcast, you know that I had a lawnmower and someone stole it. So I'm not going to buy another one because I don't have a garage and I don't want to risk it also getting stolen. So that is just something that you need to put into consideration. Is the yard work is a lot. It's a lot. So, number 4, I didn't realize how unsafe I was going to feel in my home. I was like, it's a big home. My bedroom's on the 2nd floor. I have a lot of neighbors. Holy shit, the paranoia. Like I said, I'm a paranoid person, so maybe you're not. But I have put this house on lock, okay? I have deadbolts at every door. I have safety locks. I have 6 cameras along the house. I have safety tools. Wink, wink. But yeah, I'm on lock now. But at the very beginning when I first bought this house, I didn't feel safe, especially because I didn't really know the neighbors that well. And I didn't know the area very well. I didn't know like what it's like at night in this neighborhood. Like those are just things that you maybe need to, ask the neighbors about if there's a house in a neighborhood. maybe just knock on one of the neighbors' doors or leave a note in their mailbox being like, hey, I'm considering buying this house next door. What is the neighborhood like? How is it at night? Has there been any type of theft, anything like that? Just go out of your way, reach out to neighbors in a neighborhood if you're looking at that area because you'll get some answers that you never expected. But now I do feel safe, which is good. I also have an alarm system as well. So every window, every door has like one of those sensor things that if you open it, it goes beep, 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 beep. So that's been nice. Number 5 is be expected after you close on your home to get a lot of scams after you buy. Like from every realm. Internet, when I first bought this house and I needed to set up my internet, I got scammed. I don't know if you guys remember this story, but I called 911 because I was terrified that I let a stranger into my home. So that was a whole thing. There's going to be contractors, there's going to be home insurance people that are going to reach out to you. Majority of them are scam. So if you're skeptical about any type of, mail you're getting, phone calls you're getting, reach out to your realtor and ask, hey, is this legit or is this not? Because thank God my realtor warned me of this because majority of them I just kind of ignored and threw some of the mail away. But I failed on the AT&T home or the Wi-Fi thing. I failed on that one. I went too far on a phone call and pretty much got, scammed. But that's a story for another time. Anyways, what are we on? Number 6, pay attention to the little things. I didn't realize that all the little things around your home, you got to pay attention to. The water filters, your AC filters, your drains, all of those little things that I never imagined that I actually had to pay attention to, I now pay attention to. Now, I am somebody that is on top of my shit. So, as long as I have, it marked in my calendar on my to-do list, I get that shit done. But if you're not somebody that stays on top of that shit and stays on top of the little things, it's all going to pile up. And honestly, with a home, you just you can't let shit like that happen, especially your AC filters. That's just asking for a disaster to happen. And I've always been somebody living in an apartment and living in a home and renting that has always been the one to change out the AC and the filters and all that stuff. So just stay on top of that stuff. It's a lot of work, but as long as you stay on top of it and maybe even just have auto payments of getting those shipments so you remember it shows up to your front door and you're like, oh yeah, I got to change this out. That will help you remember. Number 7 is to replace all the locks on your home, whether it's a brand new build or a house you bought from somebody else, change out all the locks. You just never know if somebody, saved an extra lock or copied a lock or has the password to your door. Just change it all for your own safety. Or a realtor maybe gave another realtor a key on accident, blah, blah, blah. You just never know. So change out all the locks, change out all the codes. If you have a garage door code, literally all of it, just change it all out. Number 7, you need to be at your house a lot when you first buy your house. For deliveries, installations, it's crazy how much you need to be home. Now, luckily, I am fortunate enough where I work from home, so I was able to be home for this stuff. But I was literally talking to my boyfriend about this. I was like, what the hell would you do if you bought this house and you needed to constantly be home? Because you have to be home for all the deliveries of the big appliances, your fridge, your dishwasher, all those things need to get signed off and installed. The AT&T people that come out, the list goes on. The furniture, even furniture, you have to get that signed off. So I was mind blown for the first 2 to 3 weeks how much I needed to be home. And the window they give you, the window is massive. I'm like, how can I narrow down when I can leave the house? They'll say, okay, we're going to have our delivery coming from anywhere from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. I'm like, okay, great. So I can't leave the house from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. So for the people that buy a house and have a job where they have to be in office Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, just prepare. You are probably going to have a lot of days where you're going to need to work from home, or you are going to have to pile all of those deliveries and installations into just 1 or 2 days because it's a lot of time where you actually need to be home. and then my last one is to buy a toolkit. Don't just be like someone like myself who will just buy one handy tool that you need. So when I first bought this house, I was like, you know what? I don't need to buy a full ass manly toolkit. I'll just buy like the tools I need. So I got like a hammer, a wrench, screwdriver. Holy fuck, the amount of tools that there are, I didn't even realize. So I ended up having to buy a toolkit because I was just like, wow, everything I was building, any type of furniture piece, I'm like, there's just tools that I just didn't realize I needed to have when you're a homeowner. Like, fuck. So buy the toolkit. I know they can be expensive sometimes, but trust me, it is well worth it to do that rather than just buying like a one-off hammer or a screwdriver. Just get it all. Have the big toolkit. You never know when you're going to need a tool, and you're not going to want to have to run to Home Depot just to buy like one tool, because then what are you going to do with it? When you have a toolkit, it's nice and organized. So that is pretty much my 2 cents on all the things that I have learned so far on purchasing a home. It has been quite the journey, and I have been loving every second of it, and that is why I am entering into 2025 looking to purchase another home. And that's another thing I want you guys to put into consideration. Like, purchasing a home isn't that much out of reach as you think it is, especially if you're a first-time home buyer. If you're a first-time home buyer, you can put as little as 5% down. 5%. Crazy, right? So just keep that in mind. Like, if you're buying a house that is, I don't have a calculator up, but say a house that is $400,000 times 0.5%, you just need $20,000 as a down payment. So those are just some things you need to consider. Like, remember, it's not a first time, or it's not going to be your forever home. It's an investment. And for me personally, I mean, it's obviously different for everyone. Everyone has their preferences. People prefer rent because they don't have to worry about all these things that I just listed off. They don't want to have a worry in the world. They don't have to worry about any like thing breaking and having to worry about having to find someone to fix it. Like, I get it. I get it. Trust me. But if it's been something that has been in the back of your mind of purchasing a home, like, you can like figure out a way to do it. And if you find the right lender that can help you with certain loans, then go for it. Like, I feel like people that look at people that buy homes are like, oh my God, like, how are they able to afford this all, like XYZ? And it's like, if you find the perfect realtor and the perfect lender, you can make it work. You really can make it work. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and found it helpful, because yeah, I mean, I never really listened to any podcasts for home buying. I never really like saw other creators kind of talk about this type of stuff. I kind of just winged it. And that's just how I've always been, is just like, in order for me to learn something, I need to dip my toes in it, and I need to, just put myself out there and go through the motions to learn something. So that's what I did. But I know for some other people, they need like that little extra encouragement, that extra like podcast to listen to or whatever it is. So hopefully I was able to help you guys. And yeah, find a realtor, or just, stalk Zillow for a little bit, see what you can afford, and go from there. But yeah, that's about it for me, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we will talk next week.